What? You're home. Welcome home. Welcome to the Success Uncensored TV show and podcast, where we're going to help you, do it well, and do it consistently. I'm your girl, host, Dr. Keita Joy, CEO of Success Uncensored Coaching, where we maximize the greatest potential of leaders, athletes, and influencers all over the nation, and help with team development skills. And guess what? Now you all have a safe space to connect with me and my dear friends and really talk about what it takes to have real success. You know, it can get hard at times, and we really want to have a space where we can give you guys the tools, the wisdom, and the nuggets to be your best self. It's gonna be so good. I can't wait. Are you ready? Are you ready? All right, let's get to it. Yes, welcome home again. I am so excited about this next guest. Listen, if you went in the dictionary and put in the phrase boss babe, clearly I think she would just kind of like pop up on Google, Wikipedia, something, just putting in boss babe. But I have none other than Kierra Douglas that's in the building with us today. Kierra is such an amazing woman. I actually met Kierra a few years ago at the SET Women of the NFL conference. I was one of the speakers. She was one of the amazing wives that was there. Loved her energy, loved her presence. I could tell the way she carried herself that she was full of so much value and insight. And you know how that is. After that, I'm like, okay, social media, stalking her, checking her out, looking at everything that she had, and just really, really love the woman that she was. And I want you all to get to know this woman that I've loved. She's a WAG, and she'll tell you what that means. She is a wife. She has 2 beautiful children. She is a former NBA and NFL dancer, honey, okay? Has a business degree, has her own business, just doing so many amazing things. And if anybody could tell us about what it really takes to be successful, it's going to be Kierra. So Kierra, how are you doing, love?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me today.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here. So tell everybody just really quickly right now, what's your main focus? What you got popping and working on right now, Kierra?
Well, to be honest, right now I'm trying to recover from COVID and quarantine and everything going on, just trying to rebuild my business, but that's my main focus. So I own a dance studio. I've had it going on 13 years now. So that's my main focus. It's just kind of rebuilding and rebranding the studio and getting back my clientele.
I absolutely love that. So thinking about your journey, one of the things, if I can be honest, I think a lot of times people who are in the spotlight, who are in the social media eye, the public eye, they can have a perception of what success is. And I think oftentimes women such as yourself who are fine, honey, fine, they often forget that just because aesthetically you're very pleasing doesn't take away from all the perseverance and hard work that you had to do behind the scenes. So just talk to us, even let's take it back to becoming a dancer and then professionally. Like, that's tough. Let's speak to that. What did you have to do to actually become a professional dancer? And what are some tips that you can share with other people who want to excel in their profession?
Well, that was definitely a long journey and a process. I've actually been dancing probably since I was about 4 or 5.
Wow.
I have years and years of training, dance training. I know a lot of time when you hear about NFL or NBA cheerleaders or dancers, you think, oh, they're just pretty faces that kind of stand on the sideline. But we're so much more than that. We're actually ambassadors for the organization. So more than just a pretty face.
That's right.
It's a very long audition process that includes interview and fitness and a whole bunch of other areas and things like that. So we're actually like in a competition. You know, they pick the best of the best, you know, and they're picking people to represent the organization. So I will say that my years and years of training definitely helped me to become a professional dancer. And also just being a pageant girl. I'm a former pageant girl, former Mrs. Georgia.
Ooh, congrats.
Thank you. I just had a lot of experience with, you know, representing other organizations, being out in the community and that sort of thing, because that's what you are when you are a cheerleader for those teams. You are an ambassador. You're out in the community. You're interacting with the fans, in addition to looking pretty and being able to, you know, break it down and dance on the sideline.
I love it. And just hearing that brief story, you made me think about where they talk about how when preparation meets opportunity, like that's what luck is. And so it seems like you had so much preparation prior to even becoming a dancer. What were some little things that maybe went unnoticed, but they really were a big part of you becoming a dancer, cultivating those skills that you need? Are there anything that, like behind the scenes, character traits or lessons that you learned that prepared you for that next level?
I would just say just knowing who I was
Mm.
outside in advance, and determination and working hard. To be honest, I never had the goal of being a professional dancer. It was just always something that I did for fun, and I happened to be really good at it. So my mom pushed me throughout middle school, high school, and then when I got in college, I started dancing professionally. But it just, the opportunity just came. Like you said, sometimes opportunity knocks on your door, and I think it would have been really easy to get caught up in the dance world. And
Mm.
it's funny because that's where I met my husband, actually.
Yes, honey. We're going to get to that part too.
We're Falcons, but I think a lot of times people can kind of like put you in one category, like, oh, she's just a pretty face, she's this and she's that. But I think because deep down I knew who I was, and I knew that dance was a small part of who I was, I think actually push myself to the next level, and I was able to kind of know, like, hey, if this particular path doesn't work out for me, I have so much more, that I'm capable of doing, and so much
Oh,
other things.
that's so. Kiera, you better say a word today. Say a whole word. That is literally like my success formula, which is do you, do it well, and do it consistently. So you had such a deep self awareness. Like you knew exactly, no, wait a minute. I'm not just this. You're not going to put me in a box. I know my gifts. I know my talents. I know all of my skills. And so, because of that, you knew you had opportunity, that someone just couldn't only put you in one category. So, I think that's great. Now, this is the thing though, Kiera. A lot of people want that kind of confidence, but it's hard for them to obtain it. What would you say to someone who's like, man, I want to grow in my confidence? Like, I want to be sure of my skills. How can I get on Kiera's level of that type of self awareness? What would you say to them?
You know what? It definitely is not something that happens overnight.
Hmm.
I think everybody has a different journey and a different path. It's different for some people. Some people are just naturally confident. I will say I am not one of those people that's naturally confident. I know sometimes, like we were talking about stereotypes and just, being cute and people thinking you. I am not one of those people. I was a little shy growing up.
Hmm.
So for me, what helped me with my journey was I had a really good support system and family. My mom was constantly speaking life into me, encouraging me. So I think it's important that you have those people in your life, especially if you deal with esteem issues. But I was able to, dancing helped me with my confidence, just being able to get out on the stage in front of people, doing different things in the community, interacting with people. That was a big thing for my confidence. But I always say that the two best accessories are confidence and kindness.
Yes. Let me go on and clothe myself with that. Absolutely.
That's kind of, how I carry myself. Those are two attributes that I like to exude: is confidence and kindness.
And I love what you said about I call it having a success circle. Like having those people in your life that can speak life to you, can encourage you even when you're at your lowest point. You need someone to build you up again.
So I had a very good support system. Like I said, my mom was my biggest cheerleader. Before I was a cheerleader, she was
Aw.
cheering me on. But yeah, just having those people that can speak life into you, like I said before. And then also, I think a big thing that affects a lot of people's confidence, especially now in the era of social media and all the craziness, that we're constantly comparing ourselves to other
That
people.
comparison disease. Oh my gosh.
If you can kind of just shut what's around you and kind of, like I said, learn who you are, learn to appreciate the things about you that make you different, and again, not compare yourself to other people, I think confidence will build from there.
That's powerful. And that's what, and I always tell people also, you need clarity. Clarity will give you that confidence. When you know who you are, what you're speaking to, your confidence continues to grow. Now, with that support system, because that helps you build up your confidence. Even for me, putting this podcast together, I got my crew like, you got this, girl. It's good. I'm like, for real? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, I got it, So you need that. Now, with that success circle, it's nice to have your man by your side. And so I want to also talk about gratitude in this segment. I know for me, we're actually celebrating our 14-year anniversary soon. Right. Thank you, girl. And so with that, this has been a long journey. I wasn't always an entrepreneur. I was a school teacher, a school counselor. And then one day I came home to my husband, girl, and I was just like, so I want to leave and resign and start my own business. How about that? And he was looking at me like, who told you that? I'm like, God told me. He was like, well, God didn't tell me that. But he was so supportive and he was very realistic. He was like, these are the things we're going to have to do to actually make it possible. These are kind of some of the budget cuts, or this is how we're going to have to structure our family. But I support you, right? And so in gratitude, I'm so grateful for him. Now, tell me about your relationship with your husband and just the aspects that you're super grateful for and how that's helped you with your life.
Wow, my husband's probably listening in the other room right now.
You better make it good.
He'll get a real kick out of this. No, but he's amazing. He is one of my biggest cheerleaders, one of my biggest support systems. He literally supports me in any and everything that I do. Now, he will keep me straight now. He'll keep me in line, but he's always my biggest supporter. And I think for me, it's some of the little things that he does to support me. So for instance, if I...
Yes, we want to know, girl. What do you do? What the little things?
Little things, like if I'm pursuing a new project and I'm not going to be home, he will cook, he will clean, he will make sure the kids are ready for bed.
Girl, praise break. Holy hands. Holy hands. He's a keeper.
It's things like that, I think that I'm very, very appreciative for. And for him, just being who he is, and he's quite the character, so he, keeps me laughing. If I'm having a bad day, he usually can put a smile on my face. So those are pretty much the things that I'm most grateful for him.
You see, I just helped you out. Now you got some more brownie points at home. That's amazing. I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about, you are a woman who's a high achiever, like myself. And being a high achiever, we have a lot of options. There's a lot of things that we feel like, ooh, shiny objects. I could do this. I could do that now. And I'm sure in your career, like being on E before, the show Wags, having the dance studio, being a professional dancer, do you feel like you see TV again in your future? Is that something you want to pursue, or you decided not to, and why? Either way.
I get that question a lot, actually.
Okay.
Hey, are you going to do Wags again? I'm like, well, I won't be doing that show. Here's the thing. Wags was an amazing experience. I'm very thankful for the opportunity, the exposure, but it was a lot. I don't think I knew quite what I was getting myself into when I decided to do the show. Like I said before, I am really kind of introverted and to myself, so that was a big step for me to kind of step out of my box and put my life on display for everyone to see.
Right.
I remember the show was getting ready to debut maybe a week before, and they're like, okay, you have to open your social media now. And I'm like, wait, huh? People look at me and my family, and they're like, well, yeah, they're going to be watching you on TV. So I remember literally opening my page, and that was like the first sign, okay, this is real, this is happening. Like, people are about to see you, you know what I mean? But
yeah.
I think one of the biggest things, and I talked to my mom about this because before I signed on to the show, literally people were knocking on my door for TV shows. I think Housewives of Atlanta has called me.
I could totally see that. Definitely.
Yeah, before that, my husband and I did a pilot for E for our own show. And I was very, very hesitant to even do that. That's where they got their first look at me. But it was like people kept knocking on my door. And my mom was just kind of like, look, like, maybe this is God giving you an opportunity. Like, you can't just, if this opportunity keeps knocking at your door, what are you going to lose? Like, just go for it.
You better listen to mama. Listen to her.
That's what I did. I stepped out on faith and was like, you know what? I'm going to step out of my bubble and I'm going to give this a shot. So, like I said, it was a lot more than what I thought it would be, but overall, it was an amazing experience. So, I actually have dibbled and dabbled after the show with some other projects. So, I'm not going to say that I would never do it again, but if the right opportunity came my way, then I definitely, I think, would do it because it's such a good, opportunity with the exposure and the platform that you're given to kind of push other things. I think
Right.
my biggest thing when I was on the show was not having control. I'm a control freak. Just being an entrepreneur and you're running the show and in charge of everything, but not having any say so in the edits and the way that you're portrayed.
That's a good
That
point.
was a that was a big thing for me. I remember like literally getting into it with the producers. Like they're like, "Hey, we need you to do this. We need you to say this," and me being like, "Absolutely not." Like
But
that's
good for you, Kiera. That goes with doing you. My success formula. It's all about like you have to know your values and you have to know what you stand for, and you can't get yourself into situations where you compromise that because like that's who you are, right? Like you're not just a TV star. You want to make sure you're protecting yourself. So I think that's great. Now, let's be real with people. When you do that, what happened with production? Like standing up for yourself.
Well, I will say we definitely butted heads a lot.
Okay.
And I probably ended up losing some scenes. I think, it was kind of like, okay, well, she's not going to do it. We'll just pick someone else on the cast to do it, which was fine for me because it was like, look, I'm not trying to be the star of the show. I'm just going to take this opportunity and use this platform and take it and run with it. So I was just like, if that's what it's going to take to get camera time, then that's fine. Like I'll just take what I get. But luckily, we were blessed with a little hiccup when they decided, they weren't sure if they were going to move forward with the Wags franchise. They recut and re-edited our whole show, and we had to come back and film for like an extra 6 months.
Oh,
Yeah, which was a lot. Like I said, it was a lot. It was way more than what I bargained for, but that ended up really working out in my favor. Like the whole show was spin like more positive, more women empowerment, and that was more right up my
but
alley.
how powerful, but that really speaks to you being clear about who you are and what you stand for, and you refuse to settle. That was a situation where you could have, because I know a lot of people, you get desperate. You get thirsty for that attention, for the limelight, right? And it's so easy to say, oh, I'll bend a little bit. I normally don't do this, but for TV, I will. So that speaks volumes that you said, I rather get less scenes if that means me continuing to be myself and be, that's, and then look at what ended up happening with that, right? It's almost like,
Can definitely be addictive. I will say
yeah,
that.
keep
I
it
mean, it
real.
wasn't like at first, but then I was like, oh, hair and makeup every day, and
You're like, yes, please.
this is great. So I love that part of it. But I think I just in life in general, especially though with reality TV, you have to know, what your boundaries are and where the line is going to be drawn. Like you said before, what you're willing to do and what you're not. And for me, it was like, okay, I'm okay with this, but I'm not okay with this. I'm okay with maybe being a little bougie and uppity, as people would say. That's not me 24/7, but I have that. That's maybe 20%. I have that side in there. I don't mind that. But on the other end, I'm not going to completely change who I am and be fighting and arguing and cussing people out when that's not me.
Come, let's go. That is the success uncensored way. I love that. You're like, no, I am not compromising my integrity, my values, who I am for anybody, and that takes so much courage to be able to do that. So going back to just gratitude, I'm sure you're so grateful for all these different experiences, the exposure that you've had today. As of today, what would you say if you could give me 5 people, places, or things that you're grateful for? What would be your top 5?
Oh wow, you put me on the
I
spot.
did, girl. Top 5. You know he in the other room, so he got to be one of them. Your husband.
Okay, I was gonna put family in a bubble. Let me break it
There
up.
you go. That's good. No, no, no. We could do that too.
So my husband, and then just I'm gonna push all my other family in one little category. But like I said, they're probably my biggest support system to help me, do what I do. What am I thankful for? I am thankful and have gratitude, just I don't know for I mean to God, of course,
Come
this
on.
morning being staying healthy, surviving all the craziness that's going on in the world.
Yeah.
I am thankful for my business, for all of my clients, for all of my supporters on that end, that have been there since day one, have, you know, saw us through this storm that has been COVID, but have been right there along the way. How many is that? Let's see.
I think you got, what was that? 4? You give me one more?
Okay, so then let's see. I mean, I have to say my mom. I already said her. So my
Hmm.
mom, she's my biggest. She's my rock. She's also my business partner. So I'm greatly indebted to her.
I love that. I always have people tell me what they're grateful for because oftentimes people on the outside, again, remember that whole reality versus social, they'll think this person has it all together, but they're basing it all on superficial things. The way someone looks, how much money they have. But then when you actually talk to someone and you're like, hey, well, what are you really grateful for? Money doesn't even come up. It's not even the first thing that people mention.
Not at all.
Not at
And
all.
social media can be so deceiving. It can be so deceiving. A lot of times, what people are portraying on social media is not the real life that they live. So that can definitely be deceiving. And I think that kind of is what keeps me humble is knowing what I'm grateful for
Hmm.
and knowing, the support system that I have.
That's good. That's good. Honey, you are the whole success uncensored package, which is do you do it well and do it consistently. So that last part, I always want to know from my guests, that consistently part, that motivation, it can get really challenging to pursue our purpose. And I'm sure, like you kept speaking to during the pandemic, keeping a dance studio, which is like brick and mortar, keeping that open. What does that look like? I'm sure you faced several different challenges along the way. What do you do to help you to overcome and kind of make it to that finish line?
Um, I mean, it's been blood, sweat, and tears, to be honest. Especially over the last 2 years, I think with COVID have been the most challenging I've ever experienced.
Hmm.
Just having a business that's centered around kids, and I'm a mom, and I'm like, I don't want to send my kid anywhere. It's COVID, like, so I get it. And then just trying to juggle and balance being a wife and being a mom at home with all the little ones. It has been extremely challenging. But I would say, and I want to go back to this, I said it earlier, what kind of pushes me is just, again, knowing my purpose, knowing who I am, and then also doing something that you love, doing something that's not
That's so
related
good.
to careers that are not money driven or not driven on status or, oh, this would be amazing to do, so I'm going to do this. I'm truly doing what I love. So on days when I fail, on days when I'm having a bad day, I think that's what motivates me and pushes me through. It's I'm truly and genuinely doing what I love and I'm walking in my purpose.
Girl, I can't wait to hang out with you in person because you're my kind of people. I love purpose driven people. And I love the fact that you're speaking to that because, again, that whole reality versus social, even for me, I feel like I tell people until I'm blue in the face. Running my business, it's so much work. It's not as glamorous as it looks online. And it's like it goes in one ear and out the other. I'm like, no, truly, trust me, there's so much work that goes into it.
No, they have no idea. People have no idea.
And I'm glad you're able to speak to that. And then I love how you said you go back pretty much to your why. You go back to your purpose. And then I love that you said remembering to do things that you love. That is so important. Now, let's keep it real now. Having a little extra money helps to do the things you love, right?
Absolutely. Sometimes I will. And let me say this though. I feel like different people go through different seasons.
Okay.
So, at one season in life, you may not be able to do what you love. You may have to, do something else to get there. But I always have that at the finish line. You know what I mean? Like I have
Mm,
that in mind. And again, that's another thing that drives me. Like, hey,
yes.
okay, I really want to do this, but I'm going to work on this and build myself here so that I can do this.
Girl, that's good. I hope everybody got that. You got that? Everybody got that? Okay, good. I think they got that. That was
So write it down for myself, actually. I'm going to put it on my sticky note so I can remember.
no, that was good because sometimes you can get frustrated with your now because you're focused.
I'm very much like my mom tells me I'm kind of like over the top with my dreams and the way I envision things to happen. So I get very easily frustrated in the moment because
Mm-hmm.
it's not the way that I envisioned because I'm looking at this big picture, but I'm not there yet. So a lot of times I kind of just have to just bring it down and reevaluate where I am and set those goals to meet where I'm trying to get.
Short-term goals to get to our long-term goals.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, Kierra Douglas, baby, we thank you for hanging out with the Success Uncensored podcast and TV show. You have graced us with so many nuggets. And so what I like to do at the end, something fun, you got the do you, which is like your values, what you stand for. Do it well, like habits of excellence, and do it consistently, what motivates you to get to the finish line. So for each one, I just want you to give me like one word or one phrase for each one. So when you think of you doing you, what would that be?
Just living life to the fullest.
Bam. Okay. Do you is living life to the fullest, doing it well. How would you do that in excellence? One little tidbit.
I was just going to say operating in excellence, but just doing, my husband has this model, do everything 100%, give it your all.
Give it your all. There you go. So excellence means whatever you do, you give your all. And then to do it consistently, one motivational technique.
Just don't think about it, just do it.
Oh, come on, Nike.
It's stuck in our head. I get stuck in my head and I'm like, nope, just do it.
Just do it. Don't overthink it. Just do it.
Don't overthink it, just do it.
Well, Kierra, thank you for stopping by the Success Uncensored home. We appreciate it. And I just need to know, you coming back?
I am. Anytime. Let me know. I'm here.
Okay. I love it. Thank you. Mwah! I had so much fun. Bye. What time is it? It's time for Dr. Keita Joy's Keys to Joy, your motivational moment. And today, let's talk about showing up. Yes, baby. I want you showing up. But how you gonna show up if you don't even know what that means? Well, I got your back. Showing up means obviously to do you, do it well, and do it consistently. But it means showing up in confidence, believing in who you are, owning who you are, and then having enough confidence to share it with the world. Who's the world? Your community, the employees that you work with, your family. They need you at your highest self. Highest self equals showing up. We're not going to back down, and we're definitely not going to water down our confidence and our dopeness to appease anyone's insecurities. Got that? That's your key to joy. Yay! You could have been anywhere in the world, okay? Anywhere. Even another YouTube channel somewhere, but you said, you know what? I want to be here with my Success Uncensored family, and I thank you for that. We've grown together. I've grown being with you at this time. So what I want you to do so you can continue growing, being your best self, is remember to follow my Success Uncensored formula. And do you, do it well, and do it consistently. And in order to do that, guess what you got to do? You got to get on out there and make sure that you've subscribed to this podcast so you can continue to get all of the Success Uncensored wisdom that you need. And then head on over to my website, successuncensored.com, where you can purchase my book, A High Achiever's Guide to Define Success on Your Own Terms. You don't want to miss it. So good, okay? So good. And then if you want to continue hanging out with me, because you're like, oh my gosh, girl, I love hanging out with you. I love your energy, your smile, your laughter, everything. Head on over to all the different social media platforms at the Dr. Keita Joy or Success Uncensored. Until next time, do you.